Whoa! A little handheld treat today, guys. Let's settle in for a review of Killer Instinct for the Game Boy, released in '94. Hot on the heels of the console release, I do believe, of the classic arcade beat 'em up, or fighter, should I say, starring such mythical creatures as Fulgor the Robot, Spinal the Skeleton Warrior, and Super Hot Beat Orchid Woman? Anyways, it's kind of neat. What is really neat right off the rip, what grips you is the super enthralling little artwork around the border of the Game Boy Color version. Let's set it on easy because that's what we do for reviews. Because I can't talk and play well at the same time. Now, as everybody knows, this is a very popular fighter that came out in the early '90s, mid-ish '90s, and it followed the Street Fighter craze of fighting games. And I have a lot of nostalgia for this game. Not this version in particular, but the SNES one. But we'll get into that later. Presentation. This looks great, doesn't it? It looks fantastic. Look at this color border. Fantastic, right? So we expect amazing things right off the rip. This is not a Game Boy Color release. This is a regular Game Boy release. Let's check this out. Oh no. This chicken nugget filter that you see can be changed by pressing X to a predator vision, like heat vision type style, which doesn't do much for it. We have Jago the Tibetan ninja. We have Glacius the ice alien. Orchid the poster girl for Killer Instinct and I guess sex appeal in marketing. The only female character. Saberwolf, the puppy boy. Spinal, Skeleton Warrior, one of my old favorites. Skeletons were just neat as a kid. TJ Combo, one of the only characters I could actually beat the SNES version with because I could cheese the boss with. T-Hawk, Native American guy. Fulgor, the robot, which is super cool looking design. And back to the ninja. We are missing some classics for the SNES. Cinder, the fireman, which if I remember was one of my brother's favorites. And of course, one of my other favorites, Riptor, the chicken little raptor that had like a little chicken breast glued on its chest. That's what it looked like whenever he did his winning pose. Anyways, let's play as Glacius because he actually plays really well in this. You only have two buttons, a kick and a punch, and you press back to block. It follows the ladder style of the combat. It has these really cool color versus screens, but the game itself reverts back to the chicken nugget filter. There is a timer to each match, and what I always liked about Killer Instinct in comparison to like Street Fighter as a kid was the ease of the combos, first of all, and also I really liked how when your life bar was depleted, it didn't just finish at round one. It just kind of, the characters got up, dusted themselves off, which you'll see shortly with Thunder here. He gets up, dusts himself off, and says, all right, round two, start right off the rip. And you still have your life bar. The winner still has whatever's left over in his life bar. So it kind of is just two life bars until the final bell, per se. Special moves in this game are kind of notoriously difficult to pull off. And I don't think there are finishing moves. As you saw there, he went into an animation that he was going to die. And anyways, I'm kind of making an overall analysis, but let's continue focusing back on track, Churrasco. Let's get back to these graphics. I like these versus screens, but the actual sprites leave much to be desired in comparison to the SNES and obviously the arcade version. But I have seen way worse sprites in Game Boy games, and these animate pretty decently. They're a little stiff, but they're nice. The backgrounds are a little static and ugly, honestly, and come in different filters, like this pea green for Combo's ring here. And like a very blue iciness for Glacius, obviously. Sound effects, music. The kicks and punches sound okay for the time and the tech, but the music is kind of horrible, in my opinion. Beeps and boops that really try to convey the SNES soundtrack, but don't really do the job, in my opinion. So yeah, Let's go to controls, shall we, gents? Uh, it controls okay. I really don't have too many complaints. It's fluid enough. It's easy. There's not much to deal with, obviously, since you only have two buttons, really. Um, and with enough, waggling around different buttons and pressing different things, it's you can pull off some specials every now and then. And Saberwolf just proceeds to destroy me now, apparently. How uncouth while I'm reviewing his game for him to thrash me so. I actually kind of do like the tune here in Saberwolf's this rendition, the Game Boy version of his stage music is actually kind of neat in my opinion. But you will notice that there are some other sound effects missing, like his howls, the screams as you lose a round, some of the hiya sound effects from the characters as they attack. That stuff is missing. The basic blows and all that stuff is here, and the thuds as characters land on the ground. All that stuff is there. But it really is lacking a little punch, a little pizzazz. But not bad. Not terrible. Now, this game is really easy to come by and really cheap. Um, if you're a big fan of Killer Instinct, I guess you could pick it up and would be disappointed and then not really touch it much. Now, where's the appeal in this? Basically, I remember when I was a kid, when the Game Boy was out, there were a lot of really popular games on home consoles, like Mortal Kombat, specifically is a good example of that. I remember my cousins having Mortal Kombat on the Game Boy. And you had the console. It's not that you didn't have the home console. I mean, some kids didn't, obviously. But we had the home console. We just thought it was cool to have a version of some of our favorite games to take on the go. I think that was just such a huge selling point. And as a big fan of Killer Instinct back in the day, both in the arcade, I was lucky enough to experience arcades, and also play it rigorously at home with my brother. I remember having lots of Killer Instinct days and play times and in the afternoons of lots of matches. Um, it really, I really dug that game, and I would see myself potentially buying this. If I had known this game existed, who knows? I might have bought it. But then again, besides Pokemon ruling everything that I had for Game Boy, I mean, I didn't really dabble too much in Game Boy until much later in years. But anyways, guys, I babble on too much. This is it. It's Killer Instinct on the Game Boy. Not a terrible port, in my opinion. You could do a lot worse, especially for Game Boy. But it's not really anything that's going to wow you. If you already have the SNES version, I suggest you just stick with that. Unless you have some kind of thing for still playing old Game Boy games on the go, then you really can't go wrong, I guess. Yeah, Killer Instinct on the Game Boy. Thank you guys for watching this short little review on a little handheld oddity or footnote. And I hope to catch you guys on the next one. This is Churrasco Voltorb, signing out.